Welcome, welcome, welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Monica Padman.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Doing great.
It's June gloom.
A little bit of June gloom, but we have the windows open in the attic, and that's really pleasant.
It is.
So if you hear some cars on the thoroughfare, don't panic. We're not getting run over. We just have the windows open. Today we have an incredible athlete, Blake Griffin. Blake is a NBA power forward, 6-time All-Star. He's currently playing for my hometown, Detroit Pistons. He also was the 2011 Rookie of the Year, and he played with the Clippers here in Los Angeles from 2009 to 2018. In addition to all that, Blake has a new health and wellness-focused podcast called The Pursuit of Healthiness, which is launching on Audible this August, and I am a guest on it.
You are?
Yes, this is how we got to know Blake. Just an incredible interview. We're so excited. We decided we want to have a lot more athletes based on how this one went.
He sparked some change for us.
He really did. So please enjoy Blake Griffin. We get support from Quince.
So we've been talking about Quince a lot lately, and as we head into fall, it's the perfect time to reset your wardrobe with their amazing pieces. I think it's so fun to do when the seasons turn over to just spruce up your wardrobe with a couple specials, and Quince is the place.
Totally. We're talking organic cotton, Mongolian cashmere, tailored chinos from just $60. Premium fit and quality you'd expect from a luxury brand designer. I love Quince. You know, I like it understated and subtle, and I like stuff that has high quality. And Quince checks all those boxes.
I love a lot of stuff from Quince. Honestly, they have incredible premium denim, which is very important for fall. It's pretty much all I wear in the fall is denim. And Quince has such a good selection of quality denim. Their stuff is so versatile, timeless, and built to last that you just grab every single day without thinking.
Right. And all of that for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They go direct to ethical factories, cut out the middlemen, so you get all that quality without overpaying for it.
We love that. And they do way more than clothes. They have bedding, cookware, bath essentials, travel must-haves, same deal, and great quality.
Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/Dax. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Dax.
We get support from Skims. Oh man, do I love Skims. I've been living in the Skims lightweight cotton collection all summer, and I have to tell you, getting dressed has become so easy. I just throw it on. It just feels right immediately, whether I'm grabbing coffee or I'm on the couch all day or I'm out, even going to dinner. The cotton is so lightweight and breathable, which in this heat is a non-negotiable. The cotton jersey t-shirt, I just need everyone to know about this one. This one hugs in all the right places. It's very soft and it still looks and fits the same after months of washing, which is very hard to do, I feel, with t-shirts. I've been wearing the black cotton jersey t-shirt with basically everything all summer long. It goes great with any patterned skirt or shorts or pants. I mean, anything truly. I believe that's probably my favorite piece from the cotton collection, but they also have great lightweight cotton thongs that are so comfortable and they're cute. That is a very, very hard mix to achieve, especially with undergarments. I feel if you can find some that are cute, but also comfortable and do the job, that is a win. And Skims has really, really figured that out with the lightweight cotton collection. Shop Skims cotton and all of my favorite pieces at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Armchair Expert in the drop-down menu that follows.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
I'm not even going to flirt around this. I'm going to get right at it. Did you watch Last Dance?
Yes, I watched every episode multiple times.
Multiple times?
Oh,
Me
wow.
too.
Yeah, not to brag, but you know.
So I'm wondering, like, it's so fascinating for us,
Yes.
and we don't play the game. It's got to be even more fascinating for you, right? Because for us, it was a 10, so I can't even imagine, like, what your experience of that is.
Yes, and the crazy part is that like most of those stories I've heard. I've been a Jordan shoe athlete for 8 years now. So I've spent like a decent amount of time around Michael, and he told the Dennis Rodman story one time. We were in China at dinner, and he told the Rodman story. He also had, he had some more details like to add in here and there. And so for a long time, that was like my story that was my MJ story that he told me. So that was like how I like, I really like, I milked it. I was like, we're sitting at dinner and like, Rodman comes, I tell it like I was there. Yeah. And so then I hear this story being told. I'm like, damn, like there goes my like best story. But I still have a couple details that like weren't in there. So I can still like, win people over with that. I knew a lot of this stuff already. All the stories about him like playing golf, like, days before games, like I'd heard those stories over and over, but like seeing it all together and then also having the context of like what was happening in the season at the time. Also, just the behind the scenes footage is just amazing. Him being so relaxed and like messing with the camera before they run out of the tunnel for a playoff game just blows my mind because I could never do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think guys today can really do that.
Yeah, what's your disposition just prior to a game?
A playoff game is like very, very, like the whole playoffs is very serious. For so many years, it's just nothing outside of basketball. Our coach, Doc Rivers with the Clippers, always talked about having your box. Your family can be in your box. Everything else has to be outside. Everything else. It sounds crazy, but the playoffs is, what we play for, and it's the most important games. And now I sort of look at it from a different perspective because I'm like, man, I play all these games during the regular season. I've been playing basketball my whole life, and they're a little bit more loose. I obviously take basketball seriously, but they're much more loose. We play 82 games. You can't be that serious before every single game. So why am I now like changing how I prepare for like more important games? Shouldn't I just still be doing the same thing?
That would drive me crazy if I were you. Yeah, because I remember seeing Bill Murray on Letterman. Letterman's like, how are you so good? How are you so consistently good over all these years? And he said, well, I try to just be calm and know it'll come. And I'm like, what a fucking wonderful approach to everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be similar in sports where it's like if you just had some faith and some belief and you were loose and flowy?
To a certain extent, yeah. I thought you were going to talk about Bill Murray before the Space Jam game. I was like, those are two very different games.
The Space Jam game.
Which he was huge in that game. He came up big.
He delivered.
Yeah, yes and no, because like for me, like we have shoot rounds in the morning. I can feel great at shoot around, hit every shot. I can, when I get to the arena 3 hours before I go out on the court and I'm shooting, I could feel great. And then you come out for the game and it might be one of those nights where I just miss every shot. So in a way, it's like, yeah, you can still have an effect on the game, even if you're missing shots. But to me, it's more than that. Like for me, I have to be in the right mind space. So it's a little bit, for me personally, it's a little bit more concentration. Not a crazy amount, but before games, I like go through like a visualization exercise where I see the ball being tipped. I see where I am. I walk through 10 to like 12 situations that I want to do well that game. I know the other team we're playing is better at this. I know we're better at that. I know where I want to get to on my spots on the floor. So once I started doing that helped me a lot. But in a way, yeah, you have to just breathe and let the game come to you. But it's sort of weird. You can feel great and go into it and be doing all the right things and just have a bad game.
Yeah.
Just because you have so many other variables. The way I describe it is like our team, and then there's also a team of professionally trained men trying to stop us from doing what we've been practicing to do. You know what I mean? Like
Sure. Yeah.
You think about it in those terms. It's always funny because coaches like who go over offense is like, guys, if we just run this, if you just concentrate on timing this, and this, we'll score. And then we were like going over defense like, guys, if you just get to the right spots, they can't score.
yeah, both things can't be true.
The coach's eyes, it should be like 160-0 every game. But
Have you ever worked with a sports psychologist to help with that visualization or come up with a routine that calms you?
Yeah, I have. I've found that I sort of get more from like reading books. So since I got into the NBA, like a lot of coaches will just give you books here and there. There's like a really great one about tennis, the psychology of tennis. I'm going blank on the name right now, but I did have like an awful experience with a team sports psychologist one time. It was like right at the beginning of the NBA's sort of pushing for most teams to have one. And so we get this guy and he's like, I'm going to be spending time with every player. I'll come by your house if that works. He came by my house one afternoon, like after practice. We sit and talk for like 2 hours, and it was great. And then, he leaves. I go to take a shower, and I come back, and I have a voicemail from him. I'm like, oh, he must have like left something. I listened to it, and he's like, hey, coach, this is so-and-so. Just left Blake's house. Had a really interesting conversation. And I was just like,
Oh,
nope.
boy.
No!
Oh, no.
No!
Never talking to him again. So
Well, did he violate your privacy? Did he tell the coach anything?
I don't know. That was the last time I ever spoke to him.
Okay.
Oof.
I would like see him. And I was just like, nope, we're not doing that.
Totally off topic, but have you seen Some Kind of Monster, the Metallica documentary?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I urge you to see it. They bring in a psychologist to help them. They can't record an album. It's all real, and they're just fighting. They bring in a psychologist, and slowly but surely the psychologist thinks he's in Metallica, and he just wants to be on tour. He wants to be backstage, all this stuff. And finally the guys realize, like, our only problem is this fucking guy. We got to kick this guy. They get rid of the guy, and then they just start recording. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's so great. I was like, yeah, the power of Metallica is stronger than any degree you could get. Like, if you get that close to Metallica, you want to be in Metallica.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I would have tried the same thing.
I'm curious about your opinion on one thing, because one of the big moments in the documentary I thought was when, they were asking all the other players about him, and they were like, he's tough. He really pushes you. And then he's looking back at them saying it, and he's getting emotional at the idea that he pushed people, quote, too hard. And I know a lot of people who haven't played team sports look at that, and some people think of him as like narcissistic or a tyrant. And as someone in it, what's your opinion on that?
There's different levels to me, right? Like his form of competitiveness, it would bring out the best in me, I think.
Yeah.
Because like the way he sort of went about it is, if you were playing hard and busting your ass, I don't think he really went at like Steve Kerr the way he went at Scott Burrell. Right? He's just like, Scott, I'm gonna bust your ass today. So like, I think it sort of depends on the type of person and type of player you are. I just always connect with people who are very competitive, very serious about their craft, which he was. Like, you heard him get emotional towards the end of that one interview when he's like, if that's not the way you want to go about this game or this craft, you shouldn't be playing. And like, he was in tears at the end because like, that's just how he's wired. And I remember hearing like, oh man, when this comes out, people are going to think Michael Jordan's an asshole. I just like didn't see that at any point. But I'm also very biased. He's the best player of all time in my eyes,
I'm not biased at all. I have no connection to basketball. Sorry. And I was like, oh my God, I was in love with the documentary and him. And I also could see, he's just pushing people to their potential. He's not pushing them past that.
I want to add, because Monica won't brag for herself, but 2-time state champion cheer. So just, she knows what it's like to be a champion.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where did you grow up?
Georgia.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm from Oklahoma, and like cheer is a huge thing. Like,
huge.
We would go to our high school state cheer competitions. But like, if you say that out here, like certain places out
here,
they
don't get it.
They don't get it.
We don't have drum lines. We don't have like a ton of competitive cheer. We're missing a lot of stuff.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
We had coaches that, if someone walked in, they'd be like, oh my God, these people are abusive. But it does pull out, I think, the best. It pushes you. Anyway.
There's a big parallel when I'm watching that stuff. I keep thinking about directors. Like, so some of the best directors have these infamous reputations of just being fucking assholes, right? And I always want to believe, I'd like to believe you could be great and be kind. And I guess like a coach like Pete Carroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at him and I'm like, yeah, they won, man. And he was kind and he was understanding. He was empathetic. And I would even say, Coach Phil Jackson, that he wasn't like a screamer. He was kind of a the Zen Buddhist, as they say. And so it's hard to know what will produce results, isn't it? You have to have seen every single approach at this point.
Yeah, and there's at different levels, there's different types of coaches. So high school, it's obviously not that serious, but it is serious in certain places, and coaches can be hard on you, but it's high school kids. Like, this kid might have just had a geometry class, like a test, you know what I mean? So like, you can't completely berate this kid. But then you get to college, and even more so back when I played, like even 10 years ago, colleges, the coaches have all the power. And the players, like, you just get in line. Like, you can't miss class. You're not talking back to the coach. You're just there doing exactly what you're told. And then if you get to the next level, I remember getting into the league, and at the time when I got drafted to the Clippers, we were not a very good team, and it was just chaos. The players are making way more than the coaches. So like in the players, I remember a guy, he was on the team already, like a vet. He'd signed a $55 million contract, and he's like, man, I got 55 million reasons why I don't have to listen to him. I was just like, whoa, that is nuts. So it's completely different on every level. And then within that, there's different styles of coaches. Like my college coach wasn't one of those guys that was a super, super hard ass. There were some crazy ones that I heard about. But then in the league, I've had some who are, we practiced harder, some who are more just like players coaches. It sort of depends on your style. And like, I think if you come off as genuine and authentic and it's you, it'll work. Whether it's the hard-nosed style or it's the laid-back style. But you can't fake it. If you fake it, guys will sniff that out and you'll lose the locker room in a heartbeat.
Well, you're right. That leap from college to the NBA, there's a huge leverage switch too, right? Like forget the money. If someone was going to get fired from the Bulls, it was not going to be Michael Jordan.
No.
And I would say even in most of the teams you've been on, the coach is probably getting fired before you are.
Right.
And that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, there's different sort of ways to go about it. I mean, like firing versus getting traded, it really just depends. Like sometimes it's better for the team, better for the direction. It's not necessarily the coach, and sometimes it's the other way around, But yes, job security for coaches in the NBA has got to be up there with one of the worst in the world.
And if your coach says either you fire Blake or you fire me, odds are he's getting fired. If you say either you fire the coach or you fire me, I think still the coach is getting fired.
Yeah, in most situations, players have more power. Like my coach now, Dwayne Casey, was in Toronto. Toronto had one of their best years of all time. They got to the playoffs, lost to LeBron in the playoffs for like the third year in a row. He won Coach of the Year in the NBA, as voted by his peers in the media, and then got fired.
Oh, my God.
That is fucking brutal.
The NBA award show is in like July, I think. And so he had to go up and accept his Coach of the Year award while he was interviewing for new jobs.
Oh, wow.
Which is just whether you agree with the firing or not, you can just admit that that's just a shitty situation to be in.
Yeah. Monica and I are obsessed because Monica and I are both pretty superstitious. Even though I don't believe in a higher power or anything, I yet believe in superstition. And we love how superstitious athletes are.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're always picking up on the different things. And it's such a ripe, fertile ground to like, I drank a coffee 1 minute before I went through the thing and I scored 50 points. Like, do you have a ton of little routines you do?
Yeah, I refer to them as routines as opposed to superstitions, because if something goes wrong and it doesn't happen, I don't want to have that thing in my mind that I like am going to play bad. And the routine for me is just to get through playing 82 games and having to do the same thing every single day. In a way, it sort of sounds backward, but it keeps me sane because for my job, I have to do a certain amount of things on a game day. So like when people always ask me this question, I can get super deep and go through, I have so many from the time I wake up to the time, I guess my last one would be when we warm up again at halftime, because then once the game is going, it's all out the window. Actually, that's not true. When I come to the bench for timeouts, I do the same thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I have routines that I could spend way too much time talking about them. There's certain ones where I just do the same thing at every time. And for us too, when we get to the arena, there's like the clock is on, right? So at 90 minutes, the clock starts to count down till game time. So before that, I'm using my phone timer because I get to the game 3 hours early. So I'm doing all my stuff before that. Once that 90 starts, and then I have a thing where I'm at all places in the arena, there's that countdown clock. So I know at 65 minutes, I'm eating my pregame snack. At 62 minutes, I'm on the table and I'm getting massaged.
Oh, wow.
48 minutes, I start getting taped.
Wow.
I'll finish around 42 minutes and I'll have 7 minutes before our pregame. And I even put my music to that. So I normally make a playlist. So I want to listen to the certain songs at a certain time. So
I love this. I love it. I would do all that
Me
stuff.
too.
How have girlfriends responded to that routine? Have someone been like, you don't have to do all this bullshit?
For the most part, I would say they're very understanding just because they see how much I care about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for sure. It's taxing because if they're at home or at the house, I'm gone for shoot around. I come back, I have to take my shower as soon as I get home. I eat lunch, I'm watching film, I take a nap, I wake up, I take another shower, I get dressed. You know what I mean? It's like there's not a lot of time. There's maybe an hour or maybe 45 minutes in there where I can just sit and talk.
Yeah, there's no real room for another person in that routine.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
after the games, practice days, those are where you sort of make up for that, especially with my kids too. On a game day, I can barely see him. And now my son's at the age where I can take him pregame with me to where he can be in the locker room. Like after the game, he comes in the locker room and he sits next to me in my locker, and I can share that with him, but I won't really be able to do that with my daughter. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Just because of the nature of a locker room.
So many penises. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
You can say it.
They're everywhere.
I'm a little nervous for your son, though, because that's probably a misleading group of folks to look at their penises as a young man, too. I mean, you're like a very big gentleman.
God.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to learn. He's got to learn someday.
Okay, so great. So you do all those things. I love that. There's so much shit you can't control that being able to control every little moment that you can control helps give the illusion of control maybe a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And like, not every guy's like this, but I have found that most of the really good players or the consistent players who are in the league for a long time, and if they're role players and they manage to be in the league for a long time, they have these sort of routines. And I've had teammates who have even more than I have, and like actual superstitions. I had a teammate who, like, before he would run out of the locker room to go into the tunnel before he ran out, would like spin around 3 times, like that type of superstition.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I mean?
like that.
I don't necessarily have those. Well, sort of. I sort of do. But yeah, it's about being in control for me, for sure, because like I said, I'm doing this so much that it helps put me in this place like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm ready for this. This is familiar. And even on the road, now I've been in the league for long enough that like I know every road arena. So I know how my routine is going to change a little bit going into that because, this locker room, the training room's here.
Yeah. And do you eat at like the same restaurant in every city, and do you try to get the same hotel room or any of that stuff?
Just by the nature of how teams travel, I sort of do get the same room or room type every single time. Like I know when we're in Chicago, I'll be all the way at the corner of there's 4 corners. I'll be at one of the 4 corners. So I know the room.
Yeah.
Restaurants kind of depends. Like, if I have friends in the city, then maybe I'll go out to them the night before. I'll go with a teammate and we'll go to a familiar place, but it's not sort of the same thing. I eat room service for like the morning of, and then I order room service for my pregame meal and I take it with me.
Are you kind of like a 40-40-20 eater? Like what's ideal for you as an athlete? I'm saying 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fat.
So for my lunch and pregame meal, I would say it's a little bit higher on carbs, like complex carbs.
Yeah.
And then right before, I'll do a little bit more protein. I have these homemade like protein bars I've been doing for like 6 years now that are like just another part of my routine. I eat those at the same time,
Yeah. Oh man, I'd like to follow you on one of these days
Yeah, this
and just
sounds-
watch every little detail.
Sounds safe. I like it.
Yeah, feel safe.
Yeah.
Feel safe.
Yeah, it makes me feel safe.
Now, I got to ask, it seems like it must be such a giant shift from when you're playing to then when you're just out on your own, right? Because all that regimented living and knowing the plan, and then all of a sudden just the light switch turns off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is it an adjustment, or do you try to just maintain this kind of militant schedule in the off season? What's it like transitioning back and forth?
I sort of lead 2 different lives. Like season is so scheduled and so, like you said, militant and everything's, laid out. I mean, we know our schedule for 3 months before the season starts. So even like in April, I know what I'm going to be doing on April 14th in October. So yes and no. Like there's certain parts when it comes to like working out and it comes to like doing the things that I need to in the off season, I'm very meticulous about it and very like scheduled. I do the same thing. But other stuff I sort of just kind of wing. And I it's also weird too, because at the end of the season, you've been playing for 7 months now. So you have to take time off. So you go from every single day having something to do from morning to night. And then once you lose in the playoffs, you don't know when it's going to be. You lose, and the next day you wake up and you don't have to set an alarm. You don't have practice. You don't necessarily have to eat super healthy. You can kind of relax. You don't have to work out. It's a very weird transition to where when I was younger, I would like sort of like go into like I hadn't watched Game of Thrones at one point, and I locked myself in my theater for like 2 weeks straight and watched 5 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Hell
As soon as we lost in the playoffs one time, and it was just like my way of dealing with being sad about, not being in the playoffs anymore. But yeah, it's weird. You have to kind of like find that transition, and it gets easier the older you get.
That kind of appeals to me because I've always liked, and it's not healthy. So I either eat perfect or eat fucking terrible.
I've been big into health and nutrition for a long time. I think my mom was like just a very well-versed person. She's not a nutritionist, but knows just a lot, and grew up eating very healthy. Like I was the kid that like my brother and I would take like barley green, which is sort of like the equivalent of a green juice now. Like it was a powder, and we'd mix it with water, and we'd drink it every morning. Take like fish oil since we were kids. So like,
wow.
all this stuff is like not like crazy to me, right? I've sort of like ramped it up, and then I think my 3rd season in the NBA, I was like, this season I'm going to be so strict, just to the T. And I did until like March came around, and I was so burned out. I hadn't like had candy or like anything bad. And I just fell off the wagon, and it just like happened like right before the playoffs. And I was like, that was stupid. Like now I have to I got to figure out how I can balance this.
You set an unrealistic goal.
Yeah, but it also taught me an important lesson, not just about food and nutrition, but just about everything. Like you can't just restrict yourself from doing certain things, because those are going to help balance that life. And I still struggle with it. I'm not like great at it, but that's sort of my routine now, especially during this quarantine. It's like I try to eat healthy for 6 days, and then Sunday I go, do whatever I want, and then Monday I'm back on it.
Yeah. So your dad was a track and field star, and he played college basketball, right?
Mm-hmm. College basketball and football, yeah.
And football. Wow. How big is he?
He's like 6'5", like probably 6'4" now, but like 6'5", big guy, yeah.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom's 5'11".
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they meet in college?
No, they actually both taught at the same high school in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. So you and your brother, you have an older brother,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys were homeschooled, yeah?
Yes. So my mom and dad, both being teachers, recognized how poor, like Oklahoma City, I don't know if you remember from 3 years ago, there was a huge public school teacher lockout. Public school teacher compensation is awful in the state of Oklahoma. It might be like, I think it's bottom 5. And they just made a decision early on, like they can't afford for us to go to private school. So my mom was like, I'm going to stop working. I'm going to homeschool them, and we'll figure it out, as we go. So we were lucky because our homeschool was like led by she'd been teaching for 15 years at that point. So
an
it was
actual
like,
teacher.
Yeah, it wasn't like a walk in the park. She had like a lesson plan. We had like a schedule. But it was also great because I could wake up at 8, do my chores, 9 o'clock start school, 12 o'clock be done, because I didn't have any wasted time. My mom would teach me a lesson. I would finish. I would move to the next one. And I would just bam, 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 knock it out.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't being deprived of like a true learning experience. And then also sports for me and my brother. We played 4 sports during the year. So we were constantly around friends from sports or friends from the neighborhood. So for us, it really worked out. And then we got to a certain point, my dad left the Oklahoma City Public Schools and took a job at a private school so that we could go there, Oklahoma Christian School.
Okay, so now how much of your desire to play basketball was your own desire, and how much of it was wanting to do whatever Taylor did?
It was a little bit of both. My dad was great because being a basketball coach, he didn't make us play sports. We wanted to play sports. The only thing he made us do was finish once we had started a season. Like he was like, you're not going to ever quit. And I don't even think I ever wanted to quit anything. And he also encouraged us to play whatever we wanted. Like I loved soccer growing up, loved baseball, football, basketball, golf. Like we'd play street hockey. We would do whatever. And his belief was that, one sport's going to help you with another sport, and just team building, being around kids, working with other people, learning how to be a leader. I mean, I remember from the time I was so young, my dad, like just drilling in my brain, if you think you're a good player and you have the ability, it's your job to help make your teammates better. And so I remember him always teaching me the lesson of like, you can't throw the ball to him like you throw it to him. So those are things that I was learning as a kid. I didn't realize I was learning, but I was learning to like deal with people and work with people and figure out people's strengths and like maximize them in such a way that it was like just a fun game for me.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was doing it at the time. And
Well, it's what a leader does, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
when you watch Last Dance, you're like, I'm trying to explain to Monica because she was never into basketball. That happened to be like the 10-year phase. I was obsessed because I'm from Detroit, 88, 89. I'm in 7th grade, so I love basketball because of them. But I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, there's so much involved. I'm like, Allen Iverson, if you just watched him play, you'd probably say, oh, he's the best ever. I mean, just that guy could score, his handles, everything was insane. But then there's just this other component. Can you get the best out of guys? Can you lead a team to victory? And that seems to be a whole different skill set.
I remember trying to navigate that when I first got into the NBA. Not necessarily when I first got in, because when you first get in, you're just trying to keep your head above water. But then, after a couple of seasons, you're trying to figure out how to become like a leader amongst men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 21 years old. My teammates are 35 with, kids that are like in middle school. So like I can't connect with them in the same way that I can connect with my college teammates or like the guys that are my age. So I remember like sort of going on a journey to like, talk to different guys. And the one guy I talked to was Tim Duncan that stood out to me the most. And it's weird because growing up, I was like never a Tim Duncan fan. I didn't like dislike him, but I was just like, the Spurs are boring. Like they just like, they're fundamental. They do this, these like bank shot, which my dad drilled in my head as well. But as soon as I got in the league, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, this guy's awesome. You know what I mean? He was one of those guys sort of that taught me within the game, like playing while I was playing against him, that like it's okay to like mess with guys. It's okay to like be funny or like say something. I would like line up next to him like at the free throw line and he'd look over and be like, oh, fucking not you again. Like, you're still, like that type of stuff. Whereas like it might be like a little dad joke, but like in the heat of a game, it was so disarming to me that like this amazing player was like taking time to like, have these little jokes with me, like little side things with me.
He was so unique in that every time I watched the game, and we were always against them in the finals, so I wasn't rooting for him per se, but he was the guy more than any other player that ever played where I'd be like, hold on, what'd they just say? He has 38 points? When?
Yeah.
I missed that. Like he was so not a flashy player, but he was just so goddamn consistently putting up double,
Yeah. Guarding him was so frustrating because you kind of, like, especially towards the end, is like you kind of knew what he was going to do, but you just weren't going to stop. It's not like LeBron where it's like, okay, like he's just like physically very good player and he can overpower some guys, he can jump over some guys. It's just like he's not beating you with speed. He's not necessarily beating you with quickness or strength, but he's still just going to score because he's just better. Like he knows how to do everything. And it's frustrating, but at the same time, like an unbelievable amount of respect for guys like that.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard us talk about BetterHelp for a while, but I don't know that we've ever talked about how much people love this service when they use it. BetterHelp has an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client session reviews. And you can check out the reviews yourself at betterhelp.com/reviews to see how much they love BetterHelp. Knowing that kind of service feedback from real people speaks for itself. I'm a huge proponent of therapy, as we've talked about before. I've learned so many things about myself that I believe truly only an outside, objective person could help me come to. BetterHelp makes it easy to get started. Answer a few questions, get matched with a therapist based on your needs, and switch therapists at any time if it's not the right fit. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Dax. That's betterhelp.com/Dax. We get support from Apple Gift Card. Back to school is here, and for many, that means some big life transitions. Whether they are heading into a new grade or setting up a dorm for the first time, you want to give them something that actually supports their growth and success. Apple Gift Card is a versatile solution because it takes the guesswork out of gifting. It's not just about a new pair of AirPods for focus. It's about giving them the invaluable chance to choose the digital tools and subscriptions that suit their unique journey. They can use it for productivity apps on the App Store, movie nights on Apple TV, or extra iCloud storage for all those new memories. With Apple Gift Card, it's so empowering to give the students their freedom to allocate their own resources. Celebrate their new academic chapter. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com squarespace.com to celebrate their milestones and gift one today. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. We've talked before about Rob building our website on Squarespace, and I bring it up again because it's a perfect example of what they do well. Rob had all the pieces, the content, the vision, the ideas, but he needed something to actually take all that and make it public facing. And Squarespace was that bridge. Maybe you're in the same spot. You've been developing something, a business, a skill set, a body of work, and it's been private. It's been yours, but at some point you're ready to put it out there, and that transition from private to public can feel like a huge leap. Squarespace makes it feel like a step. Beautiful templates, built-in SEO, email campaigns, scheduling, analytics, everything you need to go from "I've been working on this" to "here it is, come find me." All in one place, no code, no stitching together a bunch of different tools. So if you've been sitting on something and waiting for the right moment, this might be it. Head to squarespace.com/DAX for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code DAX to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place.
Let's talk bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, but it does not have to be that way.
With SoFi high-yield checking and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit.
No account or overdraft fees, which feels rare these days. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, perfect for getting ahead of a bill or grabbing what you need right when you need it.
Plus, get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/armchair. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. So how did you transition? Can you point to a moment where you were like, okay, I'm going to be the leader of this team?
It was weird for me because when I got drafted, I think they had won like 18 games the year before.
The Clippers.
And so the Clippers had won 18 games the year before. And so when I got to the team, it was a destination where guys would come to the end of their careers to like sign a 1-year deal or play just in a good city, or they hadn't really truly been like super successful. So it was weird because then my first year, we sort of did a thing where it was like, okay, we're just going to have a bunch of young guys. We're going to play these young guys. And so I was sort of one of the older ones, at least like that was on the court. And I sort of had my own way of leading then. And then the very next summer, we traded for a guy named Chris Paul, who's one of the best point guards of all time. And because we got him, now other older guys wanted to come to the team and play there. It sort of became destination, or at least was starting to. So then our team got very old again. And I was sort of lost in that. It was a very weird thing for me to navigate of trying to like be a leader, trying to get better as a basketball player, but then also like learn from these guys. It was a hard thing for me to sort of figure out. And I never really like talked about it in that sense, but it was like, how do I navigate like all these different things while still just trying to be a good player?
Yeah, and by the way, it's not like arrogance, it's your responsibility. If you are the scoring threat on the team, it's your job to do that. You can't,
right.
You have to take on that role. It would be ridiculous not to.
Yeah, it was sort of weird for me too, because my first like several years I was more physical. Like I would just try to dunk and I would, rebound and really just try to like impose your will physically on people, and didn't have some of the same skills that you develop over time. And I remember like my rookie year sort of like blowing up in terms of like just becoming more well known as a player and sort of stepping onto that true NBA stage. And then my whole rookie year, we were bad. This is before we got all those guys. And, into games, if it was a close game, we weren't supposed to win. We were super young. It was just like people liked watching us because we were just fun to watch.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
Games, like we lost. It was no big deal. It was like, oh, he finished with 20 points and 12 rebounds. Like, man, amazing. Like, rookies aren't doing that. And then it so quickly changed to like, all right, like he's got to be doing this, this, and this now. And I just heard so much negative and so much hate that I like sort of like turned myself off, whether it was some reporters or some people, or like I just fed in too much to that. And I closed myself off, and looking back, I wish I had handled it differently. But again, I was 21 years old and like,
Oh,
and not to say that's, super young, but
it
like,
is
No, it
super
is.
fucking young.
It's a child.
I want to get into a lot of that actually. But I got to say, you too, your profession is so unique. And I've thought this at so many basketball games. I'm hearing some guy who literally can't take a flight of steps or he'd have a heart attack,
yeah.
screaming at Grant Hill and informing him how he should do that job. And I think, what other profession are there people who know fucking nothing about it and can't accomplish any of it? Authorities screaming at the people who are experts. It's not like you go to a courtroom and there's a bunch of dipshits screaming at the judge about jurisprudence. It's insane. But alas, you're in the one occupation where people just scream at you of how you should be doing your job, and none of them can do your job. And the fact that you guys can handle that is amazing to me.
You know what? I think you're just like prepared to handle it just because like when you start playing in high school and you go to opposing high schools, they have their student section and they're yelling stuff at you. So from even in youth basketball now, it's so bad that other parents are like not necessarily heckling like the fans do now, but like they're saying stuff, they're getting crazy. Like a kid falls down, they're like, yelling, whatever it is. So you're sort of, you climb those levels of in-person, in-arena, in-game, like heckling. What you're not prepared for is the media. And what I wasn't prepared for, Twitter had just started.
Yeah.
And right when I got drafted, I think it was 2009, when Twitter was relatively new. That's what I wasn't prepared for, is just being so like publicly scrutinized so heavily in such a personal way, because you can not read articles. And if you're on Twitter, it's hard not to see stuff.
And I have to imagine they're also making character judgments of you, right? So what they're probably saying, and I'm completely unaware of whatever they were saying at that time, but I will say, when they start saying like, can he lead this team or blah, 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 these are like character assessments of you, not are you physically talented, can you score?
Yeah, there was one time earlier on in my career, it might have actually been my second year, where we had lost 2 games in a row. Maybe I'd gotten stitches and I was in the back for a long time after the game. And normally, like, the media comes in the locker room or, you have to go to, like, the press conference room. So I'm back in the locker room for so long, and I come out, no media's in the locker room anymore. And I asked one of our guys, like, am I good? And he's like, yeah, you're good. Like, I thought I didn't have to go speak that day. So I, like, get my stuff, I go home, and I see this article from this ESPN writer about how after 2 back-to-back losses, I left one of my teammates out to the one that did go to the press conference room. I left him out to dry, and that shows exactly who I am as a player. It's just a situation where it's like I've spoken after almost every game my whole life. And because I didn't that one time, now a character assumption has been made.
But why should you have to anyway? Like, what does that have to do with you playing?
You're on a game day, you're required to speak to the media like 3 times, like once before or after shoot around, once before the game, and once after the game. The way I get around talking before the game is I go into the training room. If you're in the training room, you don't have to speak. But now I also sort of have an understanding with our team beat writers, like, hey, I'm trying not to speak before the game. I'll stay after and talk to you, longer or whatever you need. I always kind of set that up beforehand, and most people are very very conscious of that. But then you go into a away arena and like somebody's beat writer might not know that, so you kind of have to do the whole thing. But like our PR guy does a good job now, but when I was younger, it wasn't that easy.
Well, another insanely unique thing about your job is that like we've all fucked up at work, right? We all fail at our job. The notion that right after the failure at your job, you'd have to go out and answer questions and be scrutinized about your failure. I mean, it really is a unique human situation to be in that cannot come naturally.
Yeah, and I have this bit that it's like I always have a stand-up charity show, charity event every year, and so like sometimes I'll get up and I'll do like a little like my own version of a 5-minute set, and one of my things was, it's not only that to like have a bad game, but you're also getting up and doing this after you've been exercising for 2.5 hours. You're not going to come off super smart if somebody sticks a microphone in your face. You know what I mean? So you're just not going to come off like smart. You might not come off where you're like super reflective about the game because it just happened. I haven't had a chance to like think about it. I went to the locker room. Our coach talked to us. I took a shower. I put my clothes on, and now I'm speaking to you. Yeah, post-game interviews are a weird thing because they're sort of necessary for people to write the story, but,
Yeah. Well, it's got to drive the whole business.
it's part of it.
Now, have you ever done the math? How much do you run in a game? Have you ever figured that out?
Yeah, so they track everybody now. So like guards run more than big men. I think I average like 1.8 to maybe 2.1 miles a game. That's just like non-walking movement.
Okay. Okay. But it's a fast run though. I mean,
Yeah, so basketball is all like sprint, stop, sprint, shuffle, stop, backpedal, run. It's not a lot of just jogging unless like somebody we've just scored and we're jogging back on offense. It's a lot of like quick bursts and then like sort of continual movement.
Right.
Which makes like, as basketball players, we always say like there's no way to replicate basketball shape because it's just such a dynamic like.
saying
That happened with Jordan in the baseball body. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Dak
yeah.
said it can't be that different of a body, and I said yes.
Oh,
it
it's crazy.
can.
It's crazy because it's all you're just planting and stopping and turning and pushing off, and then also you're pushing on people. So like if you go to do cardio, I don't know how you would, unless you just made up an obstacle course where you're mimicking playing basketball, you wouldn't be able to get into basketball shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very unique sport that way.
All right, now I'm going to catch Monica up to speed really quick. He plays 4 years in high school for his father as the coach. His brother's there for 2 of the years.
2 of the years, yeah. Yeah.
They win the state championship all 4 years.
Ooh, 4-time state champ.
And listen to this. Their record over those 4 years is 106 to 6 losses. Of
Oh
those
my
4 years, they won
God.
106 games to 6 losses.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Blake is a phenom, and his brother convinces him to go to Oklahoma, which was at that time pretty unconventional, right? For what a standout high school player you were. You could have gone to bigger schools, right?
Yeah, I think I guess in that time, most of the top players in the class would go to like the Dukes and the Kansas and those.
And did you and your brother play together at Oklahoma?
2 years, yeah. Then we both got drafted the same year.
Get the fuck out. So I don't know much about your brother. Do you guys play the same position?
My sophomore year, I stayed 2 years in college. I was the center and he was the power forward. And then in NBA, I was a power forward. So he sort of went from being a power forward to a small forward when he got to the NBA. No, we could play together. I guess.
I have to assume he was better than you when you were young, yeah?
He was the person I was constantly chasing.
Yeah, did you so relate to Jordan when he was talking about playing his older brother and
yeah.
like just wanting the
Yeah.
dad to see that he beat him?
Oh, yeah. I looked up to him, still to this day, one of my best friends, and like we're very close, but we would just go head to head. We'd fight every day because of sports. It was never just a fight. It was always because of he beat me in something and I just had to fight.
Was there an exact moment where you're like, oh my God, I'm better?
Yeah, I think like at a certain point we stopped like fighting, but we would always play one-on-one. And I remember like he says the same thing. It sort of happened when he left for college and I was still there. So like the reason we won 4 state championships, my first 2 years, he was the best player in the state and he just dominated. So like I got to sort of as a freshman and sophomore just kind of like ride on his coattails. And then when he left, like that's sort of when I like came into my own as a player. There was a time where I beat him in one-on-one, but like I don't know if he like particularly like credits it just because there's a lot of variables. But yeah, like there's a moment where like that you can beat him because one-on-one's it's different than fight. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
You might catch somebody one day. There's a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, like I got him. And once I have that, I got him. Like I'm never losing that confidence.
Well, you just beat the best player you've ever played against, probably, in your mind.
Yeah, and like also your basketball hero that's tangible, it's that you can touch. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't around NBA guys. I wasn't around a lot of college guys. So like that was like the guy I was chasing always.
Yeah.
Now that you have done all the things, where does winning those high school championships rank on your pride scale?
Pride scale, I mean, it's up there because like even though it's high school and we were in a smaller class, it's like we did the absolute best that we were supposed to do. So we did it, and I also took high school basketball. We all took it so seriously. From the time my dad got to this school to start coaching, he won 5 state championships there because he won his first year there, and then there was a year that they didn't, and then my brother got there, and then that was it.
Can I just say really quick, I can't imagine that bond between you guys.
Yeah.
To be a father, to all win a state championship together, to know your boys. I mean, my God, he must have been exploding with pride.
Yeah, I actually just saw there's like a little sort of documentary thing, and somebody sent me like a clip that I'd sort of forgotten about, and it was like somebody interviewing my mom and my dad. And my brother's senior year state championship game was so special, and rewatching it, like, it really took me back to like this place because it was the last time that we all us three were on a team together on the court together. So special for us. And my mom realized, and I think my dad did too. I don't know that my brother and I really appreciated it in the moment as we do now, but hearing my mom talk about it, she's like, one of them's going to college and one of them's going to still be here, but it's like the last time. And then luckily we got to play again together in college, which was my brother and I. Obviously, my dad wasn't there, but we got to play again together, and that was even more special.
Okay, now I'm going to erase Monica. So you understand he's an amazing high school basketball player. Then he goes and plays in college. He plays 2 years in college. And in those 2 years, in his sophomore year, you get 30 double-doubles, only one shy of David Robinson's record, which is insane. So a double-double is when you get double digits either scoring, rebounding, assists, right? It means he's doing everything. Okay, so you're just one shy of David Robinson, sophomore year. You also got 504 rebounds, which is just
my God.
one shy of Larry Bird's record in 1978.
Wow.
You crushed in college, and then you become a first-round pick for the Clippers in 2009. And here's a part I have great confusion over, and I want you to help me understand this. So you get drafted. You got no say, right? You have absolutely no say in which city you're going to. You're just praying you're not going somewhere you don't want to live.
Right.
How do they negotiate your contract? Because you don't have the leverage of taking other offers. How do you get market value given that you had no choice in where you're going?
So in the NBA, every first round pick 1 through 30 is slotted. So it's already figured out for you. So, I mean, the first pick of the first round makes this amount of money, and he's guaranteed 2 years, team option 3 and 4. So your contract is just structured for you.
Okay, great. That makes
So
sense.
like no agent makes money off of a first round pick's rookie deal because
they didn't negotiate
They didn't
it,
negotiate anything. It is what it is.
Okay.
Second round is different. You can negotiate. You can get more here, and
But it'll never exceed what those preset ones are probably in the second round?
no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Now, did you watch the ESPN 30 for 30 broke?
Yes.
Okay, so for the people who didn't watch it, they point out that in general, the general arc for a human being in the workforce is the older they get and the more experience they have managing money, the more money they get. And they peak out most people in their 40s, between 40 and 50, and they've had all this experience managing money, and it's a perfect time to get it. Now, it's completely flipped in sports where you had the least amount of experience managing money, and then you get this enormous amount. What is that experience like? I cannot imagine at 21 years old getting millions of dollars. What was the experience like?
So when I got drafted in 2009, all these and Antoine Walker, who was one of the guys that the documentary broke, was sort of featured about because he made so much money and literally lost it all.
Yeah.
So when I was getting drafted, you'd go to this thing called Rookie Transition Program. Everybody that got drafted goes to this program, and they sort of give you a 2.5 day crash course of like everything you need to know. Some of it's just like, have any sense at all. It's just very obvious stuff. But the financial portion was very, very interesting to me, and it was very eye-opening because it scared the shit out of me. And I'd always heard these stories. So when I got drafted, I got an apartment and I got a car. The only other big thing I did was pay off my parents' mortgage.
Oh, you
That's
sweet son of a bitch.
nice.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
And like other than that, I didn't really spend very much money at all. And then sort of as you get another contract and another contract, it's
You readjust.
You readjust. But I also had great financial managers, and my mom, she did all our taxes, everything for my family. We also had, because they were teachers and their income was so poor, we had a second family trophy company that we ran out of our awards company out of the back of our house. And so she would do financials for that as well. So she had a good understanding of how, budgeting and all that stuff. And also when we were kids, my mom made us budget. Like we had to put a certain amount aside for like savings. We had to put a certain amount, for stuff we wanted to do. So I sort of had an understanding. And then my mom also, my poor financial managers had to have a weekly call with my mom for like the first 2 years of my career. maybe even longer than that. I finally was like, all right, I got this.
They've
I got
earned
a good
our
grasp of
trust.
this. But I'm very fortunate and lucky that I had, my parents to like lean on. It was just sort of an easy transition for me, but it's not quite the same for everybody.
Yeah, and it sounds like you watch these documentaries as I do. I remember watching the one on maybe the Bad Boys or something, and I'm looking at Isaiah Thomas, who in Detroit was an absolute god. He is a god in the NBA. And it was talking about like that year they won the first championship. I think he was on $1 million a year contract, which was outrageous then.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this documentary in 2019 going, wow, $1 million 30 years ago is not a lot. Like whatever number you think is huge today, you got a lot of life to live because it's a young man's sport. It's rife with complexity.
Yeah, and it's, I think the number that always kind of shocks people is like the average NBA career is like 3.5 years.
Right.
Like, people think it's longer because you're just hearing about the guys who are really good and have been in the league a long time, but you're not hearing about the guys who come in and play 1 year and they're out, or play 2 years and they're out, 3 years and they're out. So that also just like scared me too, because it's like you just never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I've been fortunate to play, 11 years now, and and that's obviously beats the odds, but I still want to go more. But as a young player, the hunger and like sort of the being terrified of like the horror stories was just always in my mind. So I never went crazy.
Now, okay, so again, to catch Monica up. So he gets drafted number one.
So slow.
No, you don't know the history of this.
Do
I
you
don't.
understand what's going on?
Monica, okay.
Do you know what money is?
Time to check back in.
So Blake goes to the Clippers first round. Preseason
Congrats.
game.
Thank you.
Fractures his patella.
Ooh.
And he doesn't play for the full first year he's in the NBA.
Oh, boy.
Heartbroken? Does it rattle your confidence of like, because when you're that age, you feel completely invulnerable to injury. Mm-hmm. Was it like, no, this isn't part of my narrative. I'm not someone who would be out for a year with an injury.
There's two reasons. One, like you said, you feel you're unstoppable. Like injuries don't even cross your mind, or any of that. But also, I just got to my dream since I was a kid. It just happened. And I'm like, wow, like this is cool. I'm still terrified that I'm not going to make it. So I'm like working really hard. I'm not really taking it for granted. But I'm like, this is the beginning. So our last preseason game, like you said, got hurt. And then, found out I wasn't going to be able to play. I thought I was going to be able to like let it heal on its own. 2.5 months later, it doesn't. I have to have surgery. I missed my whole year. And around that time, there was a guy named Greg Oden who was a really good player for Ohio State, got drafted number 1 to Portland. Same thing, knee injury, doesn't play his rookie year. Another knee injury, misses a lot more games. Knee injury, he's out of the league. Number 1 pick. Same pick as me.
God.
And so now I'm starting to hear like, oh, like he's this guy. And then on top of that, the Clippers, like I mentioned, they were deemed as like a cursed franchise for a long time. Right before I got drafted, Bill Simmons, a ESPN writer, wrote this long article about how I should demand that they not draft me because I'm going to go there and I'm going to end up like all their other number 1 picks just turned out, not have great careers. And so I had like all that on top of my dream getting taken away, on top of being hurt, which is just mentally and physically a tough thing. So it was like a year full of like self-doubt and like just wondering, but it also scared me into just like working as hard as I possibly could. And I got some great advice that like I still stick with today. And as cheesy as it sounds, like in every bad situation, I have to try to find the silver lining. For me, that was working as hard as I could, getting back in shape, and then also going to every game and watching and studying and seeing how this league operates. And it definitely gave me, an upper hand, going into my first season.
Yeah. So in retrospect, okay. So then Monica, let me catch up to speed. Wake up,
okay.
Monica.
Oh, I'm here.
He then goes and plays the next year and he gets Rookie of the Year. He gets nominated to the All-Star team, which is very rare for a rookie. You score a tremendous amount of points. You crush what then becomes your rookie year. So are you at a vantage point where you can look back and go, oh, wow, that year probably made me something durable? Or, it was a test you passed. It could have taken you out. Like there's so much mental fucking quagmire there that you could have succumbed to. You could have lost all your confidence. Do you think it steeled your resolve?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot of lessons for sure. I don't know that I necessarily thought about it as like, I could have gone the other way. I just took those lessons and I moved on. Looking back now, or maybe at the end of into my career, I'll be thankful for that time because it really gave me, my first true test, I guess, when I first got to the NBA. But like in the moment when I'm starting to finally play my rookie year, I'm almost just kind of like, finally, you know what I mean? I'm not really like looking at it from like a lesson perspective, even though I did treat it like that as I was trying to come back from it. Once I started playing that first year, I always just say like there was a game that happened where like after that, my life just never went back to how it was. Like it just took off, and it's just been like that ride ever since. There's ups and downs, but it's just been that ride.
Yeah, and I've had tons of humbling moments over my life and work. And, now from this vantage point, weirdly grateful for all of them because, again, you could have you're in high school, you're winning championships, you go to college, and then next thing, and then you can almost wake up after it's all over to evaluate it. But I do think that 1 year pause, maybe, it's a time to think maybe more clearly on what player you want to be. When you finally do come back, maybe a heightened gratitude that you wouldn't have had if everything worked out perfectly. It's just kind of hard to know.
Yeah. Now I can appreciate that much more, but in the time, I don't think I really sat back and appreciated it because now I've seen guys who have, gotten hurt their first year and not played, and then their projection didn't meet their production.
Yes.
I see that now and I realize, what could have been. Definitely now appreciative and grateful for those lessons I learned. And then also, too, having that year, my sophomore year of college, and then getting drafted number 1 in my own little world, I was doing it. At that point, that was the best I could possibly do in my mind. And so I had people who were around me, not super close, but people that were around me. And then when I got hurt, those people went away.
Good lesson to learn early.
Yeah. Next year when I started playing, I remembered all those people who were with me, texting me, calling me, and then they went away. And then when I started playing again, they're back.
That's a great life lesson because they would have never stopped without that year, and you really wouldn't have maybe found out.
100%.
My question is a bit broader because you were just saying you had done everything right and you were sort of at the pinnacle. What is it like managing NBA egos? Everyone is in the NBA. Their egos must be enormous. They're the best of anyone they've ever come across. And then they all get put together, and then there's a ranking within that. And I just feel like that must be a nightmare ego-wise. And you have to work together.
It is. That's a great question because, if you ask a coach, 70% of coaching in the NBA is managing egos. Ask any coach. People talk about it all the time within the NBA. Because like you said, you're the best player as a kid. You're the best player in high school. You're probably the best player in college. And then, you come to the NBA where there's a pecking order. And the players that stick around for a long time, they realize if they're not one of those top 20, 30 guys, then you got to find your role and you have to star in your role. You just have to throw yourself into that and realize the importance of that.
That's what's so cool about Rodman's story, isn't it? I had no idea until I watched that guy was scoring 26 points a game in college. I'd never seen him be offensive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how cool. He figured his thing out.
Yeah, he's the perfect example. He has championships, and he's so famous because he just was himself, and he just accepted that. Yeah. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of guys come in who are very, very talented, and they just can't grasp that idea of not being the man.
Yeah.
And I know that's a hard thing to do, but the guys who are smart figure it out, and they say, okay, I'll do this.
I heard an actor say it. It's if you notice there's 3 people playing the trumpet, you better play the clarinet.
Right.
Because you're not going to play the trumpet with those 3 people and stand out. So what 100%. Are you going to play?
And you know what? What's really sad is people around those people sometimes do them a disservice because everybody's circle around them thinks they're the best too.
Yeah.
It's not just that player. And also, a lot of times, everybody around those people are depending on them to be a good player and to make money in an unfair way. They're putting all this pressure on them to oh man, no, you got to score, bro. You could score better than him, or man, you can do this better than him. Coach is screwing you. He's not playing you enough. And those people constantly tear you down. I'm so lucky that I've had my brother and my dad who are basketball players and coaches, and my mom's just not built that way, and the people that are around me aren't like that.
Yeah.
But there's so many guys that do, and it's not their fault, but like that's part of the downfall. That's why having that group of people around you is so, so important.
Well, your job, you are probably around more rags to riches stories than any place on the planet.
100%.
And it's got to be the most unique dynamic. I'm fascinated by it.
It's like, lowest of the lows in a lot of circumstances to like very quickly, like kids are signing at 18, 19 years old, kids are signing a $20 million deal. And it's like, that's it's like a famous percentage of people who win the lottery that go broke.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Or
Because
people commit suicide who've won the lotto. It's all misleading. It's dangerous getting that dream you've thought of forever because it doesn't come with the matching happiness when you look in the mirror, right? You got to earn that another way.
Right. And even then, like adding like, the fact that you're 19 or 20 years old on top of that is just like.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
This episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. Look, I have my dream job. I get to talk to folks I admire like crazy and ask them virtually any question that I want to. I can't imagine a better way to spend my time. But even dream jobs have some not so dreamy parts, the stuff that gets in the way of the actual work. Now, that's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what you should do about your busy work. They actually do it, start to finish. Cases closed, requests handled, no extra work for you. So you and your team can focus on what matters most, which for me is, are they obsessed with male bodies on the same level as I am?
They never are.
To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
Living your best life means being extra where it counts and skipping the extra where you don't need it. Like in your cleaning products. That's where Seventh Generation comes in. Their bio-based cleaning power delivers a powerful clean with nothing extra in the bottle. Need a dish soap that cuts through the tough grease? A detergent that tackles the worst stains and odors? Seventh Generation handles it all without any dyes or artificial fragrances. Real clean doesn't have to come with a long list of add-ons. Upgrade to a powerful clean without anything extra. Look for Seventh Generation dish soap and laundry detergent wherever you shop for your cleaning products.
In Oklahoma, growing up mixed, do you feel like you were a man without a country, or was it fine?
My parents did such a good job because they got married in the early 80s in Oklahoma, which is not the most tolerant place. Bunch of great people there, but like, they've had their fair share of nasty looks, of comments, of remarks. It's still happening today, so you can imagine what it was like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So my parents did a really, really, really good job of just rising above it. And so there's situations that my brother and I look back now and we're like, oh, wow, that was racist. You know what I mean? Like because my parents didn't give it the power, it didn't affect us either, which I didn't realize was happening at the time. But remember girls in like high school saying, oh, I like you thing. And they're like, I like you too, but like, I can never date you. I'm like, you're like, why? Like my dad won't let me. And now I think like, man, that's super fucked up. But at the time I was just like, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to me.
Well, did you identify with Rodman? I thought the saddest part of The Last Dance was when Rodman, or maybe it was in the Rodman documentary, which is also phenomenal. But when he's talking about going to that small town, and he's like, yeah, people are calling
Oklahoma.
me.
It was in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. People calling me the N-word. He's like, but black people call me the N-word and the white people call. And I was like, oh, man, he doesn't even see how fucking different it is and how damaging and it is. It's so telling of how fucking oppressed you'd be to not really even be aware of it.
Yeah. Like I had great friends growing up and I went to a great school, but like there definitely were situations and it's also weird for me too because when my dad got that job at a private Christian school, there was another family who was mixed and then there was like one other black kid at the school who was one of my best friends. And it was like I would be playing basketball on the weekend with my travel team and I would be with all like my black friends and then I would go back to school and I would be with my white friends and it was two completely different worlds. And so I always like felt really weird about, not that I was like trying to act like one way or the other. It's just like who you're around is like sort of who you are. At a certain point, I remember I felt like, all right, I have to pick like a side.
Yeah.
Now this is who I am. And if you're on this side or this side, cool, but this is who I am. And like, obviously I wish I had that ability when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, but I didn't. And the older I got, the easier it got. But like, it was harder than I thought, especially when I look back on it. Like the more like stroke, because you go through stuff as a kid and you don't think about like, oh, I'm reacting this way because of that, not because of this. And now I realize all those things.
Well, there would be layers for me that would piss me off. And the one would be, I got to imagine if I was black or mixed, I'd almost be more comfortable. You're just a racist, great, you hate black people. But the fucking cheer for me in a game and then treat me like shit in public, that layer of hypocrisy.
Or I can't date you.
Yeah, like I'm a hero here and then I'm a piece of shit here. That would be the thing I think that would most irritate me.
Yeah. It was interesting because when I was growing up, my neighborhood was just, lower middle class maybe. And like my neighbors on the right were black, my neighbors on the left were white. And it was kind of like neither racist, but like just in like the way that you just separate the two, and I just always remember thinking like one was like one of my best friends in the neighborhood and one was a girl that was like, she went to the same schools and stuff, but like didn't really mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not because there's hatred again, but just because like you didn't really mix. And it was always kind of weird because like, this was in the day where you'd go ring the doorbell and say, so-and-so home, and if he's not home, I'd go to the other house. I would always go to my, my boy's house first. And I always felt like I was just constantly choosing, constantly like picking. I was never mixing the two. And I wish I had done a better job of that. And I wish I had known, what I know now or be a little bit more secure about it. But that's just kind of how it was like in Oklahoma, at the time.
Very nice symmetry, though, that it went white family, mixed family, black. I'm glad that it lined up like that. It was just a nice, steady progression.
It was great for me because I didn't have to pass over one house to get to the other. I could just pick and split.
How old are you?
31.
Oh, he's
Deal with
younger
it.
than
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, right?
Yeah, but
Do you like older women?
But I was going to ask, because I have an identical story of a person who is like, I like you, but I can't go out with you because your parents probably work at Dairy Queen.
And now the stereotype in Georgia was that Indians ran Dairy Queen.
Yeah. So
Now I got to catch you up on her. Okay, go ahead. You awake, Blake?
Familiar. Same Georgia, Oklahoma, sort of same.
yeah,
same
exactly.
path,
And so that one event has derailed my opinion of myself, my relationships, everything, like from then until like a month ago, essentially, when I like really started doing work on it. Do you think those experiences have affected relationships?
I got over that pretty quickly. I don't think it like ever deterred me from hanging out with who I wanted to hang out with or pursuing who I wanted to pursue. I think there's still a little bit of that today. I mean, the beauty of being in Los Angeles, there's just so many cultures and it's such a diverse city that like, moving here at 19 was like a breath of fresh air because like I wasn't that different.
Yeah.
So I think I sort of like quickly got over that.
Also, you had this great asset that you were thriving in such a profound way in one level.
And especially if I like, grew up, went to college there and just stayed there.
Yeah.
Without basketball as my outlet. Basketball has taken me places that I never dreamed of being. And so I'm fortunate that way that it sort of brought me out of that. It opened up so many opportunities for me that it helped me come up out of that situation.
Okay, so then my last question is, so Donald Sterling, there's a new documentary coming out, right? I'm very excited to see it. Did you participate in that?
I actually didn't. They did a 30 for 30 on this whole thing. And then right after that, they were doing this. And I was like, I've told my piece,
Yeah.
By the way, I also had to talk about it so many times before that I was just kind of like, I don't want to do another deep, in-depth, like sit down for 3-4 hours and go over this one subject. You know what I mean?
Well, again, this would be another trigger of mine if I were black or mixed, which is Okay, so there's this racist asshole, and now I gotta fucking answer all these questions because this guy, like this is my responsibility to constantly be available, and I'm doing it to you right now. But I don't need that. Like, I didn't sign up to have to now talk about this guy being an asshole all the time.
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's a draft lottery that happens where they find out who's picking what. So the Clippers get the first pick, and then, a month later is the actual draft. So during that time, they announced that they were going to take me with the first pick. And I remember my mom called me one day and she was like, honey, I just was reading about the guy who owns the Clippers. And at the time, I didn't know much about him because like the Clippers were never on TV.
No,
never.
Barely in LA
Never.
were they even on TV.
I'm from Oklahoma and yeah, exactly. They were on PBS. And so I'm from Oklahoma. So I heard about the Lakers and the Celtics and the big teams. So I sort of looked into it. Man, there's a lot of stuff, but no one really seems to say anything.
Really quick to bring Monica up to speed. Do you know this?
No, I don't.
So the owner of the Clippers, he made a bunch of racist comments. Didn't he also bring his mistress into the locker room and stuff? Didn't he do weird shit like that? Am I thinking the same?
Yeah, so quickly, he made up all his money in real estate. He had so many different lawsuits surrounding racial discrimination, literally recorded saying this or that about different minority groups.
Mm-hmm.
Also driving up prices to be able to kick them out, treating them unfairly, all these different things, right?
Yeah.
So when I first got drafted, I had to go to his house
Oh wow.
in Malibu for a white party. It was everybody dressed in white.
God. Oh my God.
So I get there, he's wearing all black
Oh.
at his own white party. So he's wearing all black, and he
Oh my God.
proceeds to parade me around the party. He would hold my hand and bring me around to other people and introduce me. He'd be like, "This is our number one pick in all the land, and look how strong he is. Feel his arms." And
Oh
he would,
my God.
do stuff like that.
Oh.
So then, we're playing for him. He would always do, things. He would bring, people in the locker room. I can't remember. Yeah, she probably came in the locker room. There was a girl that he was always with that was just known as his mistress, him and his wife, whatever. I don't know, whatever they had.
When he was taking you around the party and feel his muscles and all that, in that moment, were you feeling? I mean, because it's very plantation ownery. Look
Yeah.
at this thing I own. Feel how strong he is. Was that on your mind while it was happening, or did you just feel like, oh, this guy's kind of a weirdo and I am pretty ripped, so go ahead and feel? What was happening?
A little bit of both, because I'm just getting into the league and he's the owner of this team. And I don't know how. Obviously, I know this is not normal, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. How much power do I have in this situation?
Yes.
I would not hold his hand as much as I possibly could, which was me standing up. People were like, "No, you could have done more." I was like, yeah, but I wiggled away a few times. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously it felt weird, but I also was just get me out of here.
Okay.
So fast forward, he gets caught on tape saying to his mistress, she secretly recorded him, and he was saying a bunch of racist stuff. So then this is happening right before the playoffs. So then these tapes come out, and we're about to play game 3 of the first round, big series. And this all comes out, and we're like, now what do we do? Because people knew he was racist before this. It just brought it to light again. He had multiple lawsuits for racial discrimination. So now people are looking at us what are you guys going to do?
Here's another thing I've griped about a lot, and Monica disagrees with me, and I think I'm wrong about it, but I will say I am very sympathetic to a black actor who just wants to be a comedian, and then the second they're famous because they're black, they also have to be a social activist. It's just not a responsibility that a white guy has to deal with, and I think that's a little unfair. So similar to the Olympics, right? When they wanted the black athletes to not go to the Olympics, I'm like, I mean, they already had the shittiest fucking life, and now you have to tell them not to go reach the pinnacle of their dream.
Yeah.
On top of that, some part of that feels, and then you've worked your ass off to get to the playoffs, and now you have to respond.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
And
Sorry.
I haven't watched the documentary yet. I don't know if this is going to go against what anybody says, but in my mind, and I know in most people, we weren't going to boycott the games because we never played for him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
He paid us. I wasn't oh, this is my owner, man. This guy, great. Fuck this guy. He's paying us. He owns the team, sure. But we're this isn't him actually owning us. We're playing basketball. We're doing what we want to do, and we're good at it, and we're in this situation. We decided to do a thing where we turned our For warm-ups inside out, we had to wear these jackets out. So we came out to half court for warm-ups. We took our jackets off, threw them on the ground, and we were all just in basically blank T-shirts because they were inside out.
It's so gangster. That's in the
Yeah.
commercial for that doc. It's so
Yeah.
gangster. I love
Yeah.
it.
Again, at the time, maybe I'm just a horrible judge of like how big moments are at the time. At the time, you're just kind of like, all right, like we got to play this game. It's like the whole box thing. We're like, this is not in our box. We've worked our whole season to get to this point, and now we're gonna let this asshole like ruin it and like, take the focus away from what we're really here for when we were never playing for him in the first place. And so, I think we navigated it pretty well, given the circumstances and given how fast this came out on a Friday night. Our next game was Saturday.
Oh,
So
jeez.
Friday night, or maybe it came out Saturday morning, we had a team meeting Friday night, and our coach was like, hey, this is going to come out, just so you guys know. And I'm pretty sure Saturday morning it all blew up on TMZ, whatever. So we quickly sort of had to decide like what we were going to do, because everybody was sort of looking to see, like people thought we were going to boycott. And I remember getting like texts from people like, you guys should boycott, like you guys shouldn't play and all this stuff. And I think our coach at the time was like, turn your phone off. Not because he didn't want us to deal with it. He did want us to deal with it as a team, but he just didn't want people, trying to get in our ear who didn't work this whole season, who didn't put blood, sweat, and literal tears into this season to be at this position to say like, oh, you guys shouldn't play, because then we're doing ourselves a disservice as well.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy situation.
Blake, you are fascinating.
Yeah.
At first, I was like,
Thank
we've
you.
never had an athlete on really, and I was like, other than Coach Carroll, but he has such a cool philosophy. I thought it would transcend
great.
that, and it did. And I think you so transcend the sport, the way you've lived your life and played the game and all that. I'm thrilled you're in Detroit, my hometown. I hope you eat a lot of Coney dogs while you're there on your cheat day.
Yes.
And I admire you a great deal, and I think you should be proud of the way you've handled yourself, as I'm sure you are. And thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yes, thanks for having me. I appreciate the kind words. Likewise, big fan. Monica, new fan. If you're caught up yet.
Monica, you all caught up?
Yeah, I'm caught up. I'm there.
Yeah, he's a legendary. He's one of the greats. Just to tell you now.
I
at
knew
the end.
that.
Okay.
But my introduction to you was I saw you do a UCB show. I saw you do a snow
really?
pants show with Ben many
you
years ago.
did?
Yeah, and you did
Yeah.
great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun. It's a lot
That's
of fun.
great. Well, I hope that I can hang out with you in real life when all this is over. And,
Yeah, let's do it.
Great
do it.
meeting you.
Let's make some LA Detroit style Coney dogs.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for all your
All
time.
right. Thanks, guys.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman. Oh, see how chilly this coffee is. It's got a good chill.
We should get a microwave in here.
You think so?
Yeah,
Okay.
for reasons such as that.
I got to say, though, in 2.5 years of being in this attic, that's the first time I've wanted a microwave. Have you wanted one other than this?
No, but that's weird. That's like the first thing most office places.
Uh-huh.
What are they called?
Yeah, we don't know
break
any,
rooms.
we don't
break
know
rooms.
anything about real life.
No, I used to work
Water
at my,
cooler, chit chat, office politics.
No, I worked at my aunt's law office.
Was it like a proper go there industrial complex, many floors, huge building, elevators?
No, because she had her own practice, so she
Out of her
she had one. She has her own practice, and so she has an office space, but there's other offices there too for other people doing other things. you know?
Sure.
And there's conference rooms.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds
And
like a nice.
break rooms, and you have microwaves in there
You sure do.
to make your lunches.
I'd say it's second most valuable to the fridge. If you don't have a fridge, you got nothing to microwave.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Other than when, film productions rent office space for pre-production.
Uh-huh.
I think that's my only experience.
In an office.
Like going to a large office building, parking in a parking garage, taking an elevator up, seeing people like, oh, I wonder where that person, what floor they work on, seeing the
Yeah.
same people but never saying hi.
Wow. I've had many.
You've had many.
Yeah, because I've had like internships and all
Ah.
kinds of stuff.
It is a specific feeling for me.
It's a very
It
specific
screams
feeling.
adult. Like no one's here but adults.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a penitentiary. Like they're not inviting. When you roll up in front
They're
of that
not inviting.
huge office building,
Yeah.
you're not like, oh, I'm home.
No.
You're like, oh, look at this monolith. I've got to navigate my way to this tiny office that's one of 1,000 in this building.
Yeah. But I guess part of it is it's good that it doesn't feel like home.
Sure,
Like
so you can be productive.
Yeah, and then you leave and then you go home.
Well,
It
that's
feels
true.
like a separate place
Yeah.
where our jobs don't really feel like a separate place. Not
Well,
even
they're-
this specifically, but even acting. It's like you go there, but then you come home and it's still part of you.
And like what generally I pull up to work and there's a trailer and it's mine and it's
Exactly.
like a home away from home and I'm excited to get into my little nest.
Yeah. But I just remembered it. I was going to tell you. So we know somebody
Okay.
who just got in some
Oh.
public trouble.
Twitter trouble.
Twitter trouble. Yeah, let's call it
TT.
Twitter. TT. She's
Little
in
TT.
some TT
Uh-huh.
for some tweets she wrote a long time ago.
9 years ago. 2011.
2011, 9 years ago.
The tweet it's offensive to disabled folks. But what's interesting is it's a joke on the stereotype of Asians,
For
which is
sure.
Asians are the stereotype is Asians are super smart.
Yes.
So the tweet was, we shouldn't use the word retarded anymore. We should refer to them as Asian Americans. Now, the
Yes.
joke is it's against what the stereotype of Asians is.
Yes. Look, I also don't think those are good tweets. I don't think she should have tweeted them, but we know her
Yeah.
and hasn't written anything like that in 8-9 years. And so for me, when I see that, I'm like, that is how you measure change, how someone has evolved and changed and been like,
Or
"Oh, I'm
even
not-"
it's also kind of a because she's not a provocative tweeter.
She
So it's
was though.
Oh, she was.
She was.
Oh.
She has changed a lot, I
Oh,
think.
okay. I was going to say it's also a comment on what the cultural sensitivity was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember exactly what the temperature was.
For sure.
I know I said it in 2012 in Hit and Run. And some people were upset, but not a lot of people. That was 2012.
Yeah.
People were starting to say, let's stop saying that word in movies.
Right.
You're always in this tricky position when you're writing a movie, which is, are you painting an accurate picture of what people are like? Do you have characters in your movie that are realistic and of the town that they would be in? And is it accurate or not? Like people, a good chunk of the country is saying that word.
Right.
And so if you have a character that's kind of backwards and everything
Yeah.
else, it's kind of untrue to pretend they would say the other version of it.
Totally.
So you're in this quagmire between am I realistic or do I pretend people don't say that word for the movement? Because you shouldn't say the N word, but clearly when we do movies, especially if they're historical and they're about racist people, it feels fraudulent or dishonest to not have them say the N word.
But I think that's a little different, right? Because you're not saying it's okay. You're saying this is what it looks like when someone says that,
Yeah.
And it's like, is that character
Are you celebrating them? Or are you
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's the big difference.
distinction.
But anyway, so those tweets came to surface yesterday, and she posted a really big long apology message, and I was looking at all the comments, and I just was like, I have to comment.
Oh, what was the pervasive
Well,
theme of the comments? Was there consensus?
no. So there were so many people real mad, really, really mad
Mad at the tweet
at the tweet.
or mad at her apology?
Well, it was tricky because the first response was because the verified ones go to the top. I think that's why it's looks first. So this person is someone verified and he's white and he says, it's not my apology to accept, but blah, 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 blah. And a bunch of people jumped on that and was like, yeah, it's not your apology to accept. And even though he acknowledged that.
Right.
So it was tricky because it's a lot of people who are affected by the tweet who are upset. And then there were a handful of white people who were defending. And so then that became yeah, white people, you just don't get it. So then it's this whole thing. So I was like, I think I have to comment because I'm the only person who is technically affected by the tweet and knows her and knows she's a good person.
Can I ask really quick, technically, how you were affected by
Because
the tweet?
I am Asian American, and I did look
Oh,
it up.
I'm still hung up on the R word.
Right. So that's also
Oh.
what's weird. Like, there's like a few people who are like, actually, it should be more on this, but no, everyone's upset about the Asian American part.
Oh, wow. Her aside,
Yeah.
you know, the validity of that, whatever.
Yeah.
That aside, inviting judgment in 2020 for things you said in 2006 is just a bad idea because, again, we do lose sight of how different things were.
Totally.
I was a part of storylines in 2004,
Totally.
5, and 6 that just you wouldn't be in those storylines now.
I 100% agree.
Did it make you think? I was like, it's so funny because I know her
Yeah.
and I know that how unequivocally she's on the side of good.
Yeah.
Even more because I know that, then I read her tweet with the most good faith I possibly can. And then I was like, can you imagine if we applied that same good faith to all the tweets we read?
Mm-hmm. But that's why, because I thought that too. I was like, well, I'm obviously giving her the benefit of the doubt because I know her and I know what's true about her. And okay, so these other people who tweet crazy things, they probably have people who defend them for the same reason. But here's the difference. If she tweeted it a month ago, I would be like, hey, you can't. You can't, and this is why.
Yeah.
But because it was so long ago and there has been a clear change and you can see someone's evolution, it's like that's really all you can ask.
Yeah.
But like with the other people, like people would say like Trump's racist and they can point to 100 times over the course of time leading up to now where that is proven to be true. Not like in 1988 he said one thing.
Right.
It's a pattern. So
Sure.
you have to just like follow the pattern.
The tricky thing for me, and I guess, look, I'm a dinosaur. I'm getting old. The world makes less sense to me. I'm wrong. I'm just wrong more often than I'm right. I will say all these words, what's really funny is what we have a problem with is how people look nervously in a restaurant at a family who's got a mentally challenged kid. And then that's obvious. What is painful is to have people stare at you like you're an other. We get really hung up on what word we're referring to that on. We're placing all of our discomfort with how people are treated onto the word. And my hunch is every time we pick a new word and we're cool with it, inevitably that word then will become its own landmine. Because I wrote this big thing in a script I wrote once about the term maid. Like no one uses the term maid anymore in Los Angeles. You'd say your housekeeper or whatever. And then some people will say my house manager or whatever. It gets elevated. And at some point you go like, what's demeaning isn't the name. What's demeaning is that one human's cleaning up another human's shit. Now we can keep getting hung up on the name, but that's not
And
really
they're not,
what we're.
it's demeaning that they're not getting paid
Yeah,
enough. And,
it's just like a smokescreen. And you even look at it with the evolution of like calling black folks Negroes, then colored. That was an improvement from Negro. And then colored was bad, and then African American, and then black. And it's like, we can keep changing this name forever. What the issue is how we're treating the people. And
For
then the
sure.
name becomes really symbolic of the mistreatment. And I just think it's
Yeah.
not upstream. It's like the last stop is what you're actually referring to this injustice as.
Yeah, I agree. The name is just indicative of the behavior. But if the name triggers the feeling of being demeaned,
Yeah.
then we shouldn't say it, and leave it up to the marginalized group to decide
tell
what they
us.
want to be
That's true.
called. I
That's
think
true.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But so I wrote,
As of today, we are no longer friends.
no, I did not. I wrote, all you can ask of a person is to acknowledge, learn, and grow from mistakes. And then I said, you're a good person, Megan. As someone who's Asian American and knows you personally, I feel qualified to say that. And of course, people are
They're mad
up
at you.
my ass.
Sure.
Which I knew would happen. But I didn't care because it's true. And what I also know is true is none of her friends can comment. They're not
Yeah,
allowed.
because they'll get canceled.
Yeah, they're not allowed. And so I was like,
I'm happy you did that.
I have to. Yeah. Anyway, so that's something happening on the internet right now.
Yeah, that's an update. That's our 5 minutes on the internet. What's new in the internet? I guess you're judged by your reaction to it, is what Hassan said to us, or a couple different people have said. Yeah, look, everyone can fuck up.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing is like, how do you react to it? And it sounds
Yeah.
like she reacted as
Yeah, best she
with
can.
taking as much responsibilities. I'd be tempted to explain the joke. Sometimes I'd be like, I don't think people are getting the joke.
But
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter because it's so privileged to say my wanting to make a good joke is more important than your feeling safe
Terrible.
in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
I guess it's like when you're in a fight too with your wife or your partner, your loved one, and you're like, yes, you're right. I just got to be. I didn't get home at 9. I got home at 7. I know that's not the point, but it's like you feel so like in this litany of things I did wrong. The few things I did right, I want recognition.
right. No, I
I just wonder what we all recognize that most things in society are pendulums, right? They're kind of like
For
they have
sure.
intensity, then they ebb and they flow. And I guess I'm a little concerned what the ebb and the flow of this will be, because you get so fatigued. We all have like a finite appetite for all this. As humans too, you're just like, I'm overwhelmed and I'm unplugging or I'm retreating or I don't want to know anymore. I can't take on anymore. And I just wonder what that critical mass is, and then how much stuff will get missed because I don't know.
I get all of that because I feel it, and then every time I do, I think that is literally
How the black folks are feeling.
Every
400
day.
years of this.
yeah.
Yeah, someone just made a. Oh, fuck! It was the Jon Stewart interview
Yeah.
you sent me. By the way, what's the title of that? I implore
It's on the
everyone
New
to
York
read that.
Times.
New York
It's-
Times?
Yeah, New York Times, Jon Stewart interview from like last week. It's
Promoting
so
his new
good.
movie. Jon Stewart, we want you on so bad.
So bad.
He just has a most phenomenal way of making points. He said, after 6 weeks of white people being quarantined,
Cooped up. Yeah.
they were like, no, fuck it. I don't care if I get this disease. And he's like, imagine 400 years of that. That's really
Yeah.
what it is.
I know. There's been some great memes that have really gotten it right also. Just saying that, like putting it in perspective that they
Oh, yeah. They've done these side-by-side protest signs, right? Where one woman's like, I need a fucking haircut. And the other person's like, I need to breathe.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty staggering.
Yeah. But
But happy birthday, everyone.
happy
You're looking for a nice
birthday.
transition into positive? Well, I do think I like that we're dedicating slots to the topic. And I also like that there's a day of none of it. I want to be able to give both a reprieve and dig into it.
Yeah, but even on the days that are all about it, there's other conversations that come in and out. I feel more along the lines of if we're going to reflect what it should be, it shouldn't be this insane intensity and then nothing. Then an insane intensity and then nothing. It's like this is a part of our lives. Corona's a part of our lives. Race is a part of our lives. So avocado toast is a part of our lives. So, it's like this is all a part of, which we do. Like on this episode with Blake, we recorded this before
The protests.
the protests, but we talk about race in this episode. We talk about his life and
Sterling.
Donald Sterling.
Donald Sterling.
And we talk about him feeling like he had to choose. He had to choose whether he was going to hang out with this white friend or he was going to hang out with this black friend, and that it all felt so separate. And he had to make decisions. And
Can I just say, we've not really had any athletes on.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I got so there was like a whole world of interests we've never got to ask people.
totally.
Like even how you negotiate a first round pick. That was so like, I've been dying to know that for 20 years.
I thought it was so fun.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
I really, really liked him. I
Me
think
too.
I was like, what an amazing guest and so interesting and what a different world and the whole thing. I want to have more of the
Totally.
athletes on. I really dug it.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Cool cat.
Younger than me. It's embarrassing.
Would you date him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I want to see you guys together, that height difference.
I would love to.
Oh, it'd be so exciting. Blake, Monica's open for business.
I'm here. I'm waiting. Okay, so he mentioned the Bill Murray Space Jam game. And I didn't really know what he was talking about, but I guess I forgot Bill Murray was in Space Jam.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I
yeah.
totally didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Space Jam as a young person.
You weren't a comedy nerd yet.
Yeah, so I didn't know that
You were
was
just
just
a Bugs
man.
Bunny nerd.
I was.
He was just an old man.
That's a big get.
But Bill Murray is the ultimate sports fan. Do you know that about him? He's like commentated on ESPN. He plays in every single celebrity golf tournament. He like lives for golf. He loves sports. So that's kind of a trick way to get Bill Murray involved. So I bet he was like, yeah, hang out with fucking Michael Jordan for 3 months. I don't care how
Why
shitty
wouldn't
this
I?
thing is. I got to do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He says, people forgot I got the assist on the game-winning basket. It's so easily forgotten. I stole the ball. I made the pass. Nothing. I don't even get interviewed after.
That's what Bill Murray said.
Yeah. Okay, the book on the psychology of tennis. There's a book called The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Galloway. That's the one that kept popping up when I typed in psychology of tennis or sports psychology tennis. So I think that's one, although there's so many sports psychology books, so I'm not sure.
And I could be wrong on the history of sports psychology, but I do think it gained popularity or awareness with tennis specifically. I think that those were the first athletes to start really using psychology.
Makes
coach.
sense because tennis is such a mental game.
It is a mind fuck.
Yeah.
When you're up like 40-15 and then all of a sudden you're in deuce and you're like, how the fuck did this happen? Now I got to win 2 in a row, and all of a sudden you just like collapse mentally. It's a damn fun game. I'm not good at it, but it's so fun.
Every time I play, I do really enjoy it, but I'm so bad at it. I mean, I've never taken a lesson or anything, so I'm just kind of like running around.
I'm leaving.
Okay, bye-bye.
I wanted a Diet Coke. I'm sorry. Did you see my pledge to try to get Diet Coke to sponsor me?
I did see that. You posted about the ball sack cowboy painting, and I just want people to know that's in my house.
Yeah. Well, I think people, fans of the show know it is. The reason I posted it was because Aaron was telling his friend about it.
Yeah.
And then the guy got curious, and Aaron said, do you have a picture of it? And then I found one, and then I thought I should share this.
It's becoming a valuable piece of art. I'm nervous someone's going to break into my house and try to steal it.
We've talked often about what a guy on a first date being brought back to Monica's apartment would think, because she has a whole wall dedicated to pervy pictures.
Well, sort of, yeah. It's not a wall. It's a
Okay.
bench, and all of the stuff is kind of up against it right now. But it was an accident. It was just like, oh, I'm just putting all the stuff I can't put up on a wall yet on this bench. And it turns out most of it's pervy.
Yeah, so you got the ball sack cowboy.
Well, that's hanging up.
That's hanging.
Yeah.
And then you have the Porous Walker, amazing piece of art. That too is probably worth $100 million.
You had that commission, so yeah.
And then you've got some really nice needlepoint from our friend Laura.
Yeah.
That says great tits.
Yep, it's 2 birds. Tits
tit
are
mouse.
birds.
Mhm.
And it says great tits. It's
beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I have
Another thing too.
yeah.
Oh, octopus made of penis. The tentacles are penises.
Yes, I won that at a white elephant.
But if you're like new to your apartment,
Oh yeah.
you might go like, I don't know if I've got enough gas for this gal. She's a straight up perv.
Well, maybe that's the right
Oh yeah, maybe
feeling.
you are. And maybe it's not false advertising. Maybe
Yeah.
warning them exactly what's going to happen.
That's right. It's as advertised. Okay, so Blake. So he said the compensation for Oklahoma schools is really bad for teachers.
Oh, okay.
Might be bottom 5. And then when I looked it up, the list I saw, which I think was from 2018, I think it was second to last.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was behind Montana. And then Missouri was one above it. So Montana was the worst.
Oh.
And then Oklahoma, and then Missouri. And like I think it was 31,000 something.
That's what a teacher makes there?
Yeah. It's not a lot. Not enough. Teachers have to buy their own. In addition to not getting paid anything, they also have to like buy their own
Supplies.
That's a huge mess.
It's not the high water mark of our country.
It's not. We got to work on that. We got to work on this. Okay. He said he got drafted in 2009 when Twitter was relatively new. Oh, this circles all the way back to Twitter. Look
Oh,
at that.
you did it.
2006 is when Twitter jumped on the scene.
I think I joined really soon in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was
Early adopter.
early adopter. I know exactly where I was when I created my account. I was at my father-in-law's house in Utah while he was living in Utah. We were en route to Wyoming.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm going to join this thing. I'm going to start telling people what I think all the time.
I
And then
know.
hopefully it'll come back to haunt me years later.
I remember also starting it. I was living at my parents' house because 2006, I think I also joined really early. 2006 was my freshman year of college.
Ooh. I feel like it would be more resonant if I was in college because I'd be reading tweets and then seeing the people, right? Because you're friends.
Right. Oh, but I mainly just like followed celebrities.
Oh, okay. Matt and Ben.
Yeah, I get maybe you.
Oh,
Who
I
knows?
doubt it.
Who knows?
I wasn't in. All right, was I on Parenthood? I don't know. I wasn't on Parenthood yet.
Then I probably wouldn't.
Who cares? I just made it all about me. Back to him
didn't.
getting drafted in 2009.
Okay, yeah. So 2006 is when Twitter began. Okay, so this is really interesting. What's the percentage of people who win the lottery who go broke?
Ooh.
What is your guess?
I'm going to say 40.
Over the past couple of years, several news organizations have attributed a statistic to the National Endowment for Financial Education, stating that 70% of lottery winners end up bankrupt in just a few years after receiving a large financial windfall.
Oh, 70%?
70%.
Well, my assumption for how it went wrong with those people was that people have not had that kind of money. Do they realize it's going to get paid over 20 years?
Right.
So they like, oh, I have $10 million. Well, no, you have 300 grand a year for the next, or whatever the numbers are.
Yeah.
And then, so does that occur to them after they've
Won?
bought a bunch of shit and
Oh.
they thought they had all this money, but then they're like, oh, I guess I only have after taxes $150 a year. I can't live in a mansion.
Yeah, I mean, something's happening clearly because
Yeah.
70%.
Easy come, easy go, I guess.
Yeah,
That's sad.
it's really sad.
Yeah, a lot of suicides too in that group.
Well, probably because of this. The yo-yo emotionally of like having nothing or having whatever you have, which is probably normal and good.
Yeah.
And then having this crazy amount, but then losing it. Like, that's just
Yes.
not good for your brain
No.
or body.
Is it better to have had and lost or to never have had at all?
Oh. That's about love.
I know, but I wanted to apply
I
to
liked it.
money.
The 30 for 30 on Donald Sterling is a podcast. I thought it was a show.
It's going to be. They keep advertising
Oh, yeah.
it.
You said they're going to do a doc, right? Which I can't wait to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the one he was talking about that he was a part of
Oh,
is a podcast, I believe. There's this 5-episode podcast, 30 for 30 podcast on it. I started it last night.
oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
Is it good?
Yeah. So fascinating.
I want to listen. If you had to pick,
Yeah.
gun to your head,
Okay.
for the rest of your life, you can either only see narratives or you can only see documentaries.
Oh.
And there'll be, let's say in this hypothetical, there'll be a consistent stream of either. Like there'll be just as many docs as there would have been narratives and vice
Okay.
versa. And of similar quality.
They're of similar quality.
Yeah. We got to make
Okay.
everything equal.
And is the quality high for both?
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's a little easier for me to pick.
because you picked doc.
I would. I mean, it's so fascinating when one is great.
Yeah.
And I get blown away on a level that I just don't from a made up story.
I think I agree. If the level is high,
Uh-huh.
a documentary, I'd pick that. But if the level is like mediocre or middle, I think I might pick narrative.
Like, how about this? You can only have seen one of these two things.
Okay.
Either The Last Dance.
Oh my God.
Or the first season, because we got to compare 10 and 10 episodes
Oh,
of Handmaids.
yeah, Last Dance.
Last Dance, yeah.
But I
Oh,
thought you
fuck.
were going to say Fleabag.
Oh.
And I was like, that would be really hard for me to.
That's I'm glad you thought of that one, because I don't think I had one in the chamber.
Like, Fleabag made me feel new things, like Last
Yeah.
Dance did.
Yeah.
Handmaids is unbelievable. I love that show
Yeah.
so much. And it does, I mean, it makes me think, but it doesn't give me a feeling
Uh-huh.
necessarily that like I got with Fleabag and I got with Last Dance. So that's harder for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an
It's hard.
info junkie.
I know. That's
I'm
the
such
thing.
an info junkie.
Also, the docs are such fodder for conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's I feel like there's more pausing when watching a doc than
Yeah.
say Fleabag, where you like really hammer it out with everyone. And
True.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I agree. This is the Sophie's
Really
choice.
tough. Really tough.
That's all for
Blake,
nice Blake.
I really, really liked him so much.
I really did too. That was such a fun conversation. You acted like I didn't know anything about basketball, which is true.
Well, like, yeah, I was nervous that, like, when someone comes within 2 points of Larry Bird in
Yeah.
college or Hakeem, like some of these, really best
Outstanding.
ever,
Yeah.
when he's like within a few
Yeah.
points of those people,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's a big deal.
it is. And I almost feel bad for him. It's like, anyone in a post-Jordan era or a,
Right.
post-Kobe era, the bar is so insanely high that it's hard to be recognized. What a phenom. You could be a phenom and not,
Yeah.
I guess who cares?
I guess that's your ego, right?
It's
Because
your
if you're
ego,
still if you're that good, which he is, you're gonna keep playing what she does, and you're gonna make money and do what you love to do every day, and that's enough.
Yeah, it's just, had there not been a Larry Bird, that'd be him. He would have
Right.
that record. And if there wasn't this guy that's just 2 points away.
2 points.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So he's playing for your team.
I know, Detroit. I'm going to have to start watching basketball again so I can cheer on my new friend in my hometown.
Well, if I start dating him, then we can all go hang out in Michigan.
Yes. We'll stay at his place. All right. Well, I love you and I love Blake.
you.
And it'll be really fun going on double dates with you guys. I'll try not to monopolize them. You'll be like, stop monopolizing my boyfriend.
Trying to talk to him.
I'm trying to talk to him about that.
That's my
About my
boyfriend.
painting.
Okay.
All right. Love you.
Bye.